You know, these Paranormal Activity movies, they're not really much for me. I mean, I just can't really get into them. They don't really work for me. I mean, how many times can you really watch a door open slowly and that'll still be scary? I mean, it's 3 movies in, still doing the same kind of stuff. I just don't really understand what all the hype is about, and oh my god, I'm so terrified. I really just, this is Paranormal Activity 3. I just, whew.
If there was something wrong, would you be all so strong? Would you do what it takes to move this whole life along? I like to think I would, you know, I like to think I would. But I can guarantee that what you see is not reality. Never tell she makes a point to make it get a boy. You said it's easy, but in the end you have no choice. And you know, so just the way that
Hello, my name is Mike Smith, and today we will be talking about Paranormal Activity 3. Now, I know I said that I wasn't going to review Paranormal Activity 3 because I had not seen Paranormal Activity 2. But guess what? Paranormal Activity 2 just became available on Netflix, so I was able to watch that, and then I was able to go see Paranormal Activity 3. So, you know, cool. So, I'll talk more about Paranormal Activity 1 and 2 in the What I've Been Watching thing that I do soon. But just briefly, I enjoy Paranormal Activity quite a bit. Paranormal Activity 2 is less good, but it's still a decent flick. I would say Paranormal Activity 3 is the best of the series. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'd say it's on par with the first one, maybe just like slightly better. But let's backtrack a bit. Paranormal Activity 3 is directed by Joost and Ariel Schulman, who are the two directors behind the movie Catfish. If any of you have ever seen the movie Catfish, I'll let you know right now, I do not like Catfish at all. It's just, it doesn't work for me. I think for Catfish, the best I can say about Catfish is that the first hour or so is mildly engaging, and then once it gets, like, I was like all amped up, I heard there was like a huge twist, and the twist was such a huge letdown, and it just really didn't work for me, and it was just so boring. I really just couldn't get into Catfish. It wasn't for me. But I will say that Catfish does display a certain level of craft, especially in the first hour or so. That made me think, yeah, Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman, they can create a solid thriller type atmosphere in Catfish, so maybe they're probably a good fit for Paranormal Activity 3. And they are. They are a very good fit for Paranormal Activity 3. Basically, what worried me going into this movie was that it was a prequel, you know, that took place in Katie and Christy's childhood. So, which is something they had already sort of gone over in the other two movies, like they referenced, like, oh, that bad stuff that happened in our childhoods. So what worried me was that it was just going to be that, and there wasn't going to be any additional stuff, like there wasn't going to be like any add-ons. But actually, the movie does work to expand the mythology a little bit, which is what kind of keeps me interested in the franchise, and it works to, you know, give a sense of context as to what stuff happened when they were kids. And it leaves you wanting more. You want to know more about what this stuff happened, so hopefully we'll find that out sometime. But, yeah, so I'll start off. There's not really it's a screenplay, sure, but it's a found footage movie, so I'm assuming there was a lot of sort of improvisation because it's a found footage movie, so it allows for more of that sort of thing. And I would say dialogue is pretty solid. You know, the characters are much better characters than they were in the other movies. They feel more like real people. They feel more like, you know, people that are good people. The direction in this movie, I would say, is the best of all 3 movies. They do some pretty interesting stuff with the cameras. I mean, there's definitely a big suspension of disbelief here because the found footage thing is getting a little. Okay, the first movie, I could see that. You know, it's the first movie a guy wants to document. Second movie, still it's kind of a stretch that you know, they happen to set up security cameras all around the house because that's they thought there was a robbery or something. It was actually the demon, but they thought it was a robbery, so they set up security cameras. So okay, fine. This movie, the kid's stepdad happens to be a wedding videographer. Just happens to be, you know. So he sets up cameras around the house because it's a Paranormal Activity movie. but it's 1988, so this is like around the time when home video cameras were just sort of becoming available. So I gotta say that footage looks really clean for something from 1988. So definitely a suspension of disbelief. Plus, the tapes only are able to run like 6 hours at a time, which means, and he has 3 cameras set up at one time. So that means this guy has to go through 18 hours of footage every day. It's not something you really should think about too much. It affects your enjoyment of the movie, I would say. Yeah, direction-wise, I thought there's cool stuff they did with the cameras, especially one of the cameras is on, the guy puts it on a fan, so it like rotates around the room. And I thought that was a really interesting way of doing things, actually, because, something happens like here, and you turn away, and you're like, wait, oh, what's going to happen? And you turn back here, and it's like, oh, man. Yeah, so definitely that was a pretty effective thing. The scares, they're here in spades. I mean, I would say this is the most consistently frightening of the Paranormal Activity movies, other than a couple things. My problem with the second one is that the first half of that movie is basically just a retread of the first one, with not really much added to it. This one doesn't really have that. I mean, yeah, there is like a couple of things, like, oh, the girl is standing next to the bed for like 3 hours and just standing there creepily. They did that in the first one, whatever. But most of the stuff was pretty cool, inventive kind of things. A lot of good jump scares. I think Paranormal Activity is a series that's basically ranked by how many jump scares there are and how effective they are. And I would say that this one probably has the best of all of them, really. So, there you have that. And, yeah, I gotta say, it's just a really effective movie. It's good filmmaking. I know it's a series that divides people. Some people think it sucks. Some people think it's great. I don't think it's great, but I like it. It's a fun time at the movies. Yeah, I mean, and it's frightening. It's a pretty intense experience watching it, So there you go. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about Paranormal Activity 3. So that'll be that then. I will be, I'm going to retry, if you saw my bulletin, I tried to do a review of Kevin Smith's Red State, but the iMovie is like messing up for whatever reason. Hopefully this video doesn't do that. So I'm going to try to redo that Red State review sometime this week. I'll probably do what I've been watching also. And then next week I intend to see either In Time or The Rum Diary. So you have those to look forward to, YouTube. So enjoy yourself. Alright, my name is Mike Smith, and I will see you on the other side. YouTube.